He's on the bench, he was suspended at the weekend. Then Wendell plays at left back because the Nigerian Zaidu Sanusi is out with a knee injury that he sustained on Saturday. So that's the back four. In midfield, another Pepe Aquino, then Alan Varela and Nico Gonzalez. And then the front line, Francisco Conceição, who's the son of the coach. Evan Nielsen through the middle, the top scorer with 19 goals. And also Galeno on the left-hand side. Off we go. Arsenal are back in the knockout stage of the Champions League. It is the home side Porto who kick off in their famous blue and white striped shirts, blue shorts, white socks, and Arsenal in their first choice colours as well, the red shirts with the white sleeves, white shorts and red socks. And Arsenal, after this run that they've been on, they could not be in better form coming into the Champions League again. 5 wins in a row, scored 21 goals in those 5 matches, so an aggregate of 21-2 in their last 5 games in their favour. So Raya in goal, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel and Kivior, then Odegaard the captain, Rice and Havertz, and then the front line of Saka, Trossard and Martinelli. Fabio Vieira's among the substitutes as he comes back from injury, but still no Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Partey, they're not involved, they didn't travel. So it's Arsenal in possession on this mild night here as a pass to the right-hand side. Rice didn't see it coming, from Saliba, and Rice is yellow-carded for that. The Dutch referee, he was caught out there. He actually just looked over his shoulder at the wrong moment, and as the ball was passed to him, he dived in, committed the foul, yellow card with a minute on the clock.
Yeah, you called that perfectly, John. He was talking to somebody else when the ball was played to him, and then he's reacted a bit late, Galeno. And a yellow card, so early in the game, he's got to be so careful. And that may take something away from Declan's game now.
Yeah, crucial. And he was just late, wasn't he? Because he just chosen the wrong moment to look away. Just unlucky.
Yeah, he's unlucky, but it is a foul. And you know what, John? It's probably a yellow card. And the way the modern game is now, it's hard to argue with that. Yeah,
the Dutch referee of Turkish extraction is Serdar Gözebuyuk, with 4 Turkish umlauts. Here is Wendell then on the left-hand side. Wendell, little ball in field, but Arsenal snuff that out, and the ball bounces away out of play in the end. Battled for by Havertz. Must be a great feeling for Havertz. I thought they would bring him in to speak to us yesterday. Kai Havertz, last time he was here, scored the winning goal in the Champions League final for Chelsea. Now back on this familiar turf, but wins the throw-in on the halfway line. And Arsenal take it. There's Mikel Arteta down there. We can see his shoes glinting under the floodlights of the Dragao from way up on the roof above our heads. Remember, this is his first match as a manager in the knockout stages of the Champions League as well, and many of the Arsenal players aren't in Kai Havertz's position. They've not been here either. Arsenal with the ball at the back. These they're such a good partnership, Saliba and Gabriel.
I think they've been excellent this season. Well, I thought they were last year as well. Saliba is just outstanding, and then of course Ben White supplements him very well. Declan Rice, I think he's just an outstanding footballer, one of the best sixes in the world now. It's interesting, Porto are not going to press, just keeping their shape, and I'd imagine this is the way the pattern of the game is going to go, John. And we're going to be tight defensively, Porto, and then look to counter-attack. Yeah,
as Arsenal actually go with a long pass forward, but that's intercepted by Pepe on the edge of the penalty area, the Porto captain, and then there's a little foul by Havertz, and it's a free kick to Porto, halfway inside their own half. So Porto, who are in 3rd place in the Portuguese league, which for them is not good enough when you've got Sporting and Benfica top of the table, above you the 3 great Portuguese sides. Oh, the ball is passed out of play by Diogo Costa, and for a moment there I thought Otavio might have a problem, because for some reason he didn't chase the ball and it rolled out of play for a throw, but he seems okay, just didn't think he could get there. So it's a throw to Arsenal on the right-hand side. That's a cheap one. Chance for the long throw, Ben White, although Saka comes close, and actually it goes back up the line towards Saliba, and then in field towards Gabriel. Now again on the right-hand side, just 10 yards inside the Porto half, as Odegaard goes back into his own half. So it is still Liverpool 0, Luton 1 in the Premier League. That is the surprise scoreline. Liverpool, who've not lost at home in the Premier League for 16 months. It would be a real twist in the title race if it stays like that. What is the latest, Mas Faruqi, at Anfield?
That final ball for Liverpool just not working at the moment. John Diaz with a couple of chances. Some of the Liverpool decision making in and around the Luton area not great at the moment, and frustrations building in the stands. 35 minutes played, Luton still lead, Liverpool 0, Luton 1.
And the other match tonight is underway as well in the Champions League, Napoli against Barcelona. And if you haven't clocked it, the way that these Champions League matches are strung out in the round of 16, the second leg of this back at the Emirates will be in 3 weeks' time. Here's Saka with the ball on the right-hand side. And then Odegaard goes for a long left-footed ball high out towards Martinelli in the Porto right-back area, who heads it up in the air, and then in comes João Mario to head it out of play for an Arsenal throw on the left.
He's been in good form lately. He looks back at his best, Odegaard, the last few weeks, and he is one of those players that make Arsenal tick. He's so busy, he's so good at manipulating the ball, and his way to pass at times is fantastic.
Throw in for Arsenal, which is hurled in towards the edge of the area, helped back towards the halfway line. And Arsenal, who've dominated possession in these opening stages, absolutely dominated it. But as Neil Lennon said, it's not the normal formula that we see in the Premier League, because Porto have sat right off them and have let Arsenal have the ball. And so it's up to Arsenal to do something with it. Gabriel is on it. He indicates to Martinelli that he wants a run from him. That doesn't come. So it's back to Martinelli, who miscontrols it, and as a result it has to be played back towards goalkeeper David Raya in the D, who will hit it long. This is a one for Arsenal to chase down the left-hand side, but good work from the right back, João Mario, and Porto look to break away now in centre field. It's played actually all the way back here to Wendell, who goes back into central defence, and they will see it back to their goalkeeper, the number 99. He's taken the same number as the great Vitor Baia, the Porto and Portugal goalkeeper. This highly rated 24-year-old, all in black down there, but his distribution results in an Arsenal throw, which they take infield, and here's Saliba again. The blue flags of Porto waving behind Diogo Costa's goal as Arsenal cross the halfway line with Declan Rice, but he has to turn it back into his own half, and it's certainly not a gung-ho start to this tie by any means, with Arsenal just being allowed to keep the ball.
Porto being very patient in the shape. You know, I thought Arsenal started well. You know, they even had a high press on Porto earlier, forced them into mistakes. So you're right, John, they are dominating possession, but I think Porto would have expected that anyway, and this might be part of the game plan. Arsenal will be happy with the start they've made. They're in no real danger at the minute and getting plenty of touches of the ball so far. Yeah, so still halfway inside their own half as Arsenal playing from left to right. As we look from high up on the dressing room side of the ground, we can see Mikel Arteta and Sergio Conceição, the long-serving Porto coach, down there on the touchline. Arsenal now out to the left-hand side, but across comes Pepe to tidy that up and just put it out of play for an Arsenal throw near the halfway line. Porto, their supporters, Sergio Conceição, will probably feel that they need a lead from this first leg. Don't know whether it's particularly significant, but Porto's record in England is terrible. They've never won away against English opposition in the European competitions. But it is 0-0 in the very early stages, with Arsenal still in possession in the central third. And then a foul on Declan Rice as the challenge came in on him from Gonzalez, and Arsenal will have the set piece. Porto, who in the warm-up were very noticeably practicing and preparing for Arsenal set pieces. Yeah, it was, I've not seen that before, lining up in a 7. Wide free kicks, straight free kicks, defending crosses. So maybe that was the signal of their intent. There's a mistake, John.
That is a mistake from Saliba, who's given the ball away central to Evan Nielsen, but he couldn't do anything with it, and Arsenal quickly won back possession. So Odegaard bringing it forward, but he looks up and he just sees two banks of blue and white striped shirts in front of him. It's a very different challenge this so far for Arsenal, but they are very used to having possession of the football as Raya is put under pressure by Evan Nielsen, and Arsenal pass it out from the back very pleasingly. Gabriel and Rice, and now Kivior on the left-hand side. That breaks down and Porto suddenly look to break here, but Arsenal are able to win possession back illegally, says the referee. A free kick on the halfway line.
Bit harsh that. Again, great pressing from Arsenal. As soon as they lose the ball or turn it over, they're hunting in 3s or 4s to try and get the ball back. They've made a really sharp start, and you called it as well. That little movement playing out from the back between Raya Gabriel and Rice was really impressive, the way they were nice and calm. And even though there was a little bit of a press from Porto, they played through it no problem, John.
So this is 5 Live from the BBC. Porto 0, Arsenal 0, first leg of the Champions League round of 16. Still Liverpool 0, Luton 1, still Napoli 0, Barcelona 0. And we're here in the Dragao, this famous stadium, which, as I say, hosted the Champions League final between Chelsea and Manchester City. Ben White jumps for the ball over his head, so Raya is quickly out, knocks the ball out of play. The ball boy quickly gives it back for the throw-in to be taken, and the Arsenal are able to clear it away on the edge of the penalty area. Galeno, very sharp of thought there, got the ball
rascal.
back, took the throw.
Ball boy had the ball in his hand before he could even turn. Raya did well there, though. He read the danger brilliantly. You know, Ben White sort of misread his header, and Varela, I think, was in, but Raya read the danger. Great position from Raya.
Yeah, the ball boy down there, how old will he be? 14, 15?
Little rascal.
He was as sharp as a tack. He got the ball, gave it quickly to Galeno, and it was panic stations to David Raya.
Do you know what, John? It'll be interesting to see when it's an Arsenal throw, if he's that quick with it.
My guess would be...
Do you think?
No. But I think if that had led to the opening goal of the tie, I think that ball boy would have had to have been given an assist.
Absolutely.
By Opta. It's a free kick. It's a free kick offside for Porto, which is taken downfield by Diogo Costa. Still 0-0. Still now the goalkeeper has had a save to make. And here is Galeno on the left-hand side, who plays it back, and it comes off Saka and bounces out of play for another throw. But this one's not so quick. The ball boy actually gives it to Galeno, who just drops it down because they're going to set themselves up properly. But he's as keen as mustard, isn't he? The ball boy in his silver Champions League bib. He doesn't walk behind Galeno either. He comes around the advertising hoardings. So Galeno takes the throw. It's a long one into the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's cleared away by Saka on the edge of the penalty area. Arsenal's top scorer, bang in form, just like his team, Saka, but really not been on the ball yet in the match. Long one forward from the goalkeeper for Porto. Then Saka heads it over the halfway line. Saka with 6 goals in his last 4 appearances, with 2 each in the last 2 matches. And Porto go all the way back to the goalkeeper. So 0-0 here in Portugal. Let's get the latest on, let's see how things have started between Napoli and Barcelona in the other Champions League match tonight. It's being monitored by John Southall.
Yes, good evening, John. It's also Napoli 0, Barcelona 0, but 2 good chances for Barcelona from their 16-year-old Lamine Yamal. The first over the crossbar, the second saved by the keeper, Merritt. Napoli 0, Barcelona 0.
Porto 0, Arsenal 0. Luton still winning at Anfield. 7:30 kickoff, so it'll almost be half-time. Declan Rice has to be careful here, just overrunning the ball in centre field, but actually he was fouled, and it's a free kick.
Yeah. It's interesting, Porto are almost playing like the away team here, John. You know, they're taking their time, unless it's in their final third. And other than that, they're trying to take the sting out of the game every opportunity. Galeno has started quite brightly. He's given Ben White a couple of problems early on, but again, pretty comfortable for Arsenal at the minute, and they'll be pretty happy, although they haven't had an attempt on goal yet.
Yep, still 0-0. Galeno has scored 4 goals in the Champions League this season. Scored on Saturday as well in their win against Estrella. And Evan Nielsen as well with 4 goals in the Champions League this season. Scored a hat-trick actually against Antwerp in the group. Porto finished second in their section behind Barcelona, and there is supposed to be, they say, interest from Arsenal in Evan Nielsen. But we've not really seen the number 30 yet. Arsenal, because Arsenal have dominated the possession. Here's Saka taking the ball into a central area, but playing it back to Gabriel. I mean, the touches so far in the match for the 2 Arsenal central defenders, Saliba and Gabriel, he must be dominating the figures. Headed infield by White, halfway inside the Porto half, comes up towards the halfway line, and it is Evan Nielsen who flicks the ball past Rice, but Rice is able to recover, does very well actually. And Arsenal again have it inside their own half.
That's Declan Rice in a nutshell. Absolutely outstanding reading of the play. Nice and composed, John, stays on his feet, takes the ball off the player Evan Nielsen, and recycles the ball for Arsenal. He's one of the best in the world at it, I think, and such a great athlete as well. Yes,
we've had a lot of talk since our producer, our friend George Cummins, took that video of Rio Ferdinand on the plane from Stansted yesterday, talking about whether Bukayo Saka is world class. But I think there's a discussion to be had there with Declan Rice as well, whatever world class actually is.
Well, for me, he's definitely world class. You know, if you're talking about Rodri, You know, Rice isn't far behind that. Even if in some people's opinions he could be better than Rodri, but does he get enough goals? Time will tell, John. There's still young players, particularly with Saka. This is really his first venture in the Champions League, so he really needs to make his mark in this competition for people to say, yeah, you're world class, son. I think he's a brilliant player.
Porto 0, Arsenal 0, still lots of Arsenal possession, not going anywhere, although White now hits a long, high crossfield pass out towards the left-hand side, and Havertz is over there. Plays it back to Kivior, first time touch, that's nice from Havertz, centrally through towards the edge of the penalty area, and down goes Odegaard. The challenge that came in from Pepe was just, I mean, he just overran himself, bundled over Odegaard, and it's a free kick over on the left-hand side for Arsenal, so good set-piece position.
Yeah, you tried to read the danger. He stepped out of his defensive line, Pepe. Just caught Odegaard a little bit late. Not like him, John,
Pepe, who's been sent off just the 19 times in his career. The former Real Madrid man, Champions League winner 3 times. He knows his way around this competition, and he's setting a record. Pepe, the gnarled, shaven-headed figure of Pepe, for the oldest man to play in the outfield in an outfield position in the knockout stages of the Champions League. But he's got to do his job here, and in fact he's clapping his hands and just giving the orders, because Porto have got to defend this set piece where Arsenal have been so effective this season.
I think he was talking to the assistant linesman, you know, because there's obviously 4 players in an offside position at the minute. He's going, okay, keep an eye on this, but yeah, quite a high defensive line here from Porto. Yeah,
again, we're seeing a very detailed Arsenal routine here with 4 men standing in an offside position. The free kick to be taken in from over on the left flank, so Declan Rice is going to deliver it in. Here he is, raises, he comes up, stops, then he steps back. This is, I'm sure, all part of the rehearsal. Whistles from the home sections. Rice now delivers it in, goalkeeper comes for it and gets a clean punch, and there are players who've fallen down inside the box. There have been collisions, referee's blown the whistle, and he's given a free kick to the home side to Porto. 0-0.
Yeah, really well defended from Porto, good high line, plenty of room for the goalkeeper to come, and I think Ben White sort of bumped one of the Porto defenders, and the referee's given the free kick. Any sort of contact in that aspect, he's going to give a free. But this is the stuff we were looking at before the game from Porto, John, how rigid they are in the defensive line from particularly set players.
Yeah, taking the short goal kick out, and Otavio is under pressure, but he clears it, comes off Odegaard, and then bounces out of play on the halfway line for an Arsenal throw. So it's still 0-0, lots and lots of Arsenal possession, but still relatively little in terms of goal scoring opportunities. So we've played 17 minutes here in Portugal. Let's get back to Anfield. Half-time now with you, Maz Farouki.
And that poacher's goal from Ogbena 13 minutes in is still the difference at the moment. Liverpool look like a side who are disjointed with those 5 changes Jurgen Klopp has been forced into making. They've had so much of the ball, but it's just not working right now. A tense atmosphere, as you can imagine, here in the stands and on the field too, because at half-time it's Liverpool 0, Luton 1.
That would be a real twist in the title race, were Liverpool to lose at home to Luton. So 45 minutes to go. Misplaced pass here from White across field, out of play for a throw into Porto. And I should say as well, it is a 5 Live final score night tonight, so you can listen to our 5 Live commentary alongside the final score graphics and the video printer. If you press the red button or go to the BBC iPlayer, BBC Sport app, and click on 5 Live final score. Odegaard thought he was away there, but the referee has given a free kick for his challenge.
No, it was Rice actually, John.
Oh, was it?
So he's got to be careful. There's a little bit of frustration. I didn't think there was much in it, but the referees give it, and Declan's just got to ignore that and get on with it.
And he's got to be careful because of his yellow card in the first minute. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. And Otavio hits a long ball downfield, but that's just effectively giving possession back to Arsenal. Although White has actually headed it to Conceição in the centre circle, and little Conceição takes it forward, and now João Mario is onto this. He can be a danger coming up from right back into the penalty area, but his attempted cross is blocked. It's deflected up in the air, and that's an easy take for goalkeeper Raya.
Should have done better. João Mario was a great position. Little cameo of what Porto want to do, you know. Mistake from Ben White. He hasn't really started the game great. He's been a little bit sloppy in possession, misplaced header. Conceição was on it, nice ball. João Mario burst, he left Martinelli and burst forward. Great position, but dawdled on it too long, and Arsenal were able to snuff it out.
Yeah, Porto 0, Arsenal 0. Easy catch for David Raya, the man. I don't know whether you saw it in the paper earlier this week. The question was asked, are these the biggest hands in football? David Raya, and they had a picture life size of his hands, so you could measure your hands against his hands.
With his biggest Pat Jennings, John.
Well, he famously,
remember Pat Jennings' hands?
Yes, absolutely enormous. Didn't wear gloves either for a large part of his career way back then.
Used to catch it one-handed, do you remember?
He did, that's right. Here's Otavio. Wendell down in the left-back area gives it to Otavio, and it's passed across the 6-yard box, and then right-footed out towards the far side, where it's chested down by João Mario. He actually scored at the weekend, João Mario. Excellent finish against Estrela on Saturday night. Throw in on the halfway line to the home side, and it goes back to Pepe. He just carefully passes it back towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and then Diogo Costa left-footed out to João Mario, but Arsenal with the press. It's back now with Pepe again, who just caps it infield, and then lovely touch there to set Pepe Aquino, the other Pepe in this Porto side, the Brazilian, halfway inside the Arsenal half. Interception from Odegaard, but Porto have it back again on the halfway line. They don't need much encouragement, this home side. They've seen some great highs over the years from this team, with European trophies galore really over the course of the decades, and now they come forward again with the ball on the right hand side, and it's Conceição is challenged, takes it on, right for the ball to the near post, but Gabriel is in to make the challenge, but then it's slipped in, blocked. Now there's appeals for handball there, and the referee has immediately ruled it out, whether there was an offside, whether there was a handball, but the referee was immediately onto it. And even though the music was being played,
John, I thought it was in.
Yeah, referee immediately ruled it out.
No, it never went in. He's hit the post, and as the ball comes out, Evan Nielsen put away. But his reaction was so sharp. It was absolutely brilliant. They get up forward down the left-hand side. It's cut across. Evan Nielsen, it's a deflection, gets across. Gabriel's on his heels, and Evan Nielsen gets in front of him. Then
he shot wide with the first effort.
It bangs off the woodwork, comes back, and he puts it wide.
Yeah, and it rebounded so quickly that it appeared to have gone into the back of the net, and it actually ruffled the outside of the netting. So it was hit wide by Galeno. What an opportunity that was, not taken, and it remains Porto 0, Arsenal 0. First big chance of the tie. Porto really should be in front.
John, that's a massive let-off for Arsenal, and you have to say Porto's tactics are working to a treat. They've been organised, the back four's been pretty solid and disciplined, and they've attacked on the counter-attack with gusto and speed, and that was the first time they got a one-on-one situation in a wide area, and that was a worrying aspect, because the ball should have been in the back of the net. Evan Nielsen's reaction to the cross was fantastic, so sharp, and he got across, it was Saliba, smacks it against the post, and then he's unfortunate with a rebound, but real warning sign there for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think it was Galeno, wasn't it? Was it Galeno? I think it was Galeno who had the shot.
Oh yeah, sorry, 13, yeah. He was so sharp to get across there. Fantastic reactions.
So it is still Porto 0, Arsenal 0, but that's a let-off. Porto with the ball in the centre circle, and that was adjudged to have been a foul. It was Gabriel and Rice who were either side of Conceição, and a free kick is given to Porto in the centre circle. So it's Arsenal who have to drop off now. It's quite a test, this for Arsenal. In fact, Mikel Arteta was saying yesterday, having experience himself of playing in the knockout stages of the Champions League, as Pepe, it's a long high pass towards the edge of the penalty area, and that is cleared away, headed away by Saliba, and then Odegaard. There's just a little foul on him in the centre circle. I mean, you'll know this, Neil, from playing in this competition. You get a different sort of challenge, don't you?
Oh, completely. This is a real tactical battle from not just the players, but both coaches as well. Conceição's obviously gone, look, we'll concede possession in certain areas, but make sure our shape is good, and then we look to hit them on the counter-attack, and they've done that perfectly so far. From Arsenal's point of view, they've had a lot of possession. They've not really been dragged Porto out of the positions, and you have to admire Porto's discipline in that aspect, but it's okay, it's still 0-0, and if it ends like this, I think Mikel Arteta will be happy, but they've just got to try and calm the crowd down a little bit, because they're a little bit pedestrian at the minute with the ball. They need to speed things up a bit, John.
Yeah, there's a foul on Gabriel on the edge of the area from Evan-Nielsen. Arsenal take it quickly, and here they are. They're upping the speed now and the pace, and it's Martinelli down the left-hand side who swings the crossover, which is headed away by Wendell on the edge of the box. Arsenal though, Odegaard volleys it out to Saka, who's hardly been in the game, but he's got Wendell all over the back of him, and he's down, and it is a free kick to Arsenal on the right-hand side in a good position.
Yeah, that was better. Quick ball out to Martinelli, 1v1.
They did exactly what you were calling for.
Exactly. You know, quicker pass, 1v1, and that's what you want. Martinelli's been in great form. Ball comes back out, and then, you know, Wendell's all over Saka, so another opportunity. It'll be interesting to see Porto's lineup again, John, here. This is what they were practicing before the game again. Yeah,
exactly this. So they know, they were expecting that Arsenal would have something up their sleeve, and so Porto have got those 7 men almost in a line either side of the penalty spot. This time there are 3 Arsenal players in an offside position. You know, I was fascinated when we were at West Ham for the commentary a couple of weeks ago to see what they did and how they worked the corners in that match, which eventually bore fruit. But it's Odegaard who's going to play this in from the right-hand side. So a left-footed free kick from the Arsenal captain, which is into the near post, and a diving header away sends the ball behind for what is the first corner of the match. So let's see what Arsenal have got lined up now. At West Ham, they had the routine where they would line players up at the back post, and that's what they're doing. 3 of the Arsenal players have gone to the back post. Now 3 more are into the 6-yard box, and Saka is going to take the corner. But the referee's got to have eyes in the side of his head here, because there could be something happening over on the far side of the penalty area. There could be something happening next to the goalkeeper. So he's blowing his whistle, and he's pointing, and he's telling.
There's a bit of handbags going on. Saliba and Octavia were pumping and pushing each other. The referee's just having a word with, I think, Ben White as well.
Yeah, Ben White being called over.
Yeah, stop the nonsense and go on with the game.
Yeah, so we're ready now. We're ready for the corner to be taken. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. BBC Radio 5 Live here in the Dragao, the home of Porto. Saka just standing next to the corner flag, and we've got lots of pushing and shoving now, and I don't think the referee's going to stand for this, but he says, come on, let's have the corner taken. So Saka with the delivery into the 6-yard box, but Costa is able to come and make a very good catch under no pressure there. Positive goalkeeping, delivers the ball downfield where Declan Rice heads it forward.
I don't get that, you know, because the guys at the far post, John, they're never going to get there on a delivery like that. You know, they're so far beyond the far post that they're never going to get in around it. I think they're trying to ruffle the goalkeeper, but he was totally unchallenged there, and it was quite a comfortable catch.
Well, in the West Ham match, and I know it's been a feature during the course of this run since they were away in Dubai, that Declan Rice was taking the corners. I think he was taking the corners from both sides against West Ham, but it's Saka who took that one as Arsenal break forward with Havertz, but it's cleared away by Pepe, out of play for a throw down the left-hand side. Still 0-0 here, but Arsenal just beginning to ratchet up the pressure and getting the ball into the right areas, i.e. the Porto defensive third. Throw-in is taken, which is swung over left-footed towards the edge of the area, but cleared away on the edge of the box by Nico Gonzalez, the number 16, the young Spaniard. Arsenal again in possession, but then back to the halfway line again. So still 0-0 here, still Napoli 0, Barcelona 0, and still Liverpool 0, Luton 1, half-time in that match. Tomorrow night, by the way, more Super League commentary on Sports Extra. Hull KR against Leeds on Sports Extra tomorrow night. Arsenal, ball to the right-hand side. Saka with a header. The home fans feel that he didn't keep it in, but the officials say he did. And then Havertz tries to play the ball to Martinelli on the left, but hits it straight into João Mario. Arsenal again do eventually get it to Martinelli. No gloves on for Martinelli tonight here in mild Porto. Rice back to the halfway line, and now Gabriel again, and Martinelli heels on the white line on the far side. A little run infield. He had Trossard as an option, but actually won a throw-in off Francisco Conceição. Throw-in is taken. Martinelli almost onto this, but that's cut out by Porto and cleared up towards Evan-Nielsen near the halfway line. Rice wins the header and then does well, heads it forward into the path of Havertz. Odegaard, first time pass, but slightly behind Saka, so Arsenal have to go back towards the halfway line.
Brilliant from Rice again, although I've been impressed with Varela in the centre midfield for Porto as well, John. Showed great awareness at times and great reading of the game. Martinelli got the other side of the fullback, and he was the first one there to sweep up behind the fullback. So it's fascinatingly poised. I think the first goal, and I know it sounds, obvious, for the team is going to have a massive. I think if Arsenal get the first goal, they'll win this game maybe 2 or 3. If Porto get it, they'll settle for a 1-0.
I think Alan Varela, who you mentioned, the number 22, he could well be someone we see at a Premier League club near us very soon. The young Argentine plays it through, the number 22, who is 22 years old, but overhits that, actually. Former Boca Juniors man, he signed him from there. And likewise, Nico Gonzalez is a former Barcelona youngster. So you know how our Premier League clubs like to hoover up talent from Portugal. Yeah,
he's certainly caught my eye so far. He's really intelligent, and just patrolling that area in front of Pepe and Octavio, who's having a fine game so far against, let's get it right, top quality players.
Porto 0, Arsenal 0 remains the score here, with half-time around about 15 minutes away. That'll be the case, I'm sure, in the Napoli-Barcelona tie as well, John Southall.
It is half an hour nearly played. Napoli 0, Barcelona 0. Barcelona very much on top, should be ahead really. Alex Merritt in the Napoli goals denied, Yamal, Lewandowski and Gundogan, but it's still Napoli 0, Barcelona 0.
And I'll let you know when the second half begins at Anfield, with Luton leading through the Ogbene goal in the first half. But the ball with Porto on the edge of their 6-yard box, and he picks it up, Costa, in this wonderful setting here. We can see the cars whizzing by on the Porto ring road. We could actually see supporters rushing through the turnstiles and taking their seats just before the start of the game, because it is so wide open. And when the breeze blows in off the Atlantic, you can feel it here. But it is very pleasant tonight, with Arsenal in possession, almost 3,000 of their fans right on the opposite side of the stadium from where we are. All of the flags there, the Gunners flags. I know there's one up there from the West Midlands. I was talking to some of their supporters. The West Midlands branch of the Arsenal Supporters Club were on the plane with me yesterday. Here's, unlike you.
Let's not talk about that, John.
No, let's draw a veil over that. Here is Gabriel with the ball halfway inside his own half, gives it to Saliba, now to Odegaard, 10 yards inside his own half. Back it goes to Saliba, who just moves the ball forward from right to left, and then gives it to the Polish left back, Kiwior, now to Martinelli down the right hand side. But João Mario comes across, makes a good challenge, out of play, taken quickly by Martinelli to Havertz. And then Havertz again gets it back, angles up to Trossard, edge of the box, controls it with his right, but shoots wildly with his left, and it lands in amongst all of those waving Porto flags.
Yeah, it's the first attempt on goal. Better. Good play from Martinelli. Slipped inside the Havertz. He found Trossard, his first touch let him down, and then he sort of, wild with the effort, but again, better possession. I just wonder, John, is it something Mikel might think about at half-time? Just letting Porto have it and maybe counter-attacking on them, because they're not coming out of their shape at all at the minute. They're pretty rigid in the way they're set up as a unit almost.
Yeah, it's a tactical challenge for the new manager at this stage of the competition, as Porto have it on the edge of the penalty area. That was a risky pass from Ben White to Gabriel. And here they break with Martinelli on the halfway line up against Pepe. He'll fancy his chances there, but he's also got help centrally from João Mario, and he has to come back and give it to Odegaard. Now here's Saka on the right hand side, barely been in the game. Now he's got a chance to run at Wendell, the left back. Into the box he goes, stationary ball now, gets it moving on his left foot, then onto his right, tries to chip it across via a deflection, bounces to the back post, Havertz in the middle, but it's cleared away, and actually the ball had gone out of play via a deflection, so that'll be an Arsenal corner.
I think I hit the bar, John.
Landed on it.
Oh, did it? Yeah. That was better.
I think it maybe went out after Saka crossed via the deflection and then curled back in.
Yeah, it was interesting though that
landed on the top of the bar.
The first time they got Saka one-on-one in the box, and that came from a counter-attack, John, and I'm just thinking maybe that might be the way forward for Arsenal in this game.
It did. That's exactly what happened. It deflected out of play but curled back and landed on the top of the bar, but it was already out for the corner. So here we are. It is
your corner again, John.
Here we are again. Corner situation, same drill. 3 players right on the far side of the penalty area, beyond the 6-yard box. So there are 3 there. 2 Porto men are looking after them, but we've also got 4 men in the 6-yard box causing a nuisance. And the referee, this is an interesting test of the Dutch referee. to deal with this, because there are all sorts going on in there, in the 6-yard box next to the goalkeeper, who steps back actually into his goal. Saka waits to take this, and the delivery this time from the corner is again into the back post, where it's headed down and wide. And that was a chance for Arsenal. That's the best opportunity they've had yet, with Saliba with the opportunity.
Oh, it's a great chance. You know, it's a great play from Arsenal, the way they're trying to disrupt the Porto defence, and certainly the goalkeeper. They're really trying to disrupt him, and it worked. And Saliba's got a free header, and he just doesn't get enough purchase on it with his forehead, and he glances his wide. But great opportunity, best one for Arsenal so far.
Do you know what? That's not unlike the West Ham match there, where Arsenal from the set piece have given Porto so much to think about, and in the end Saliba had the chance there at the back post, which is exactly what they were looking for, but he wasn't able to take advantage.
Perfect, you know, they worked it perfectly. It's a great delivery, and to be honest with you, Johnny should score.
So that's another tick for, just like the West Ham commentary the other week, another tick for the Arsenal set piece man, Nicolas Jauvert. It's become quite a thing, hasn't it? The set piece coaches, everyone's talking about it. Arsenal conceding a free kick in the centre circle, for clumsy from Martinelli, really. Free kick to Porto.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of the pressure off the manager then for set players, when you've someone who's an expert analysis on it. I know Austin McPhee does it really well for us in Villa as well. So you saw Pep Guardiola the other week when he scored a free kick against Burnley, running over to the set play coach and giving him a big hug. So it's becoming more and more prevalent in the game, no question. Yeah,
Sergio Conceição, the Porto coach, didn't see eye to eye with Pep Guardiola a couple of years ago in the group stage of the competition. Remember that they had a little bit of a do, but Mikel Arteta and Conceição could hardly be further away from one another, so I'm not expecting those two to come together, because the coaching areas must be 20 yards apart. Free kick then for Porto in the centre circle. It's actually been a quiet first half, really. It's been a tactical battle, this. But a free kick for the home side. Arsenal holding their line outside of the penalty area. It's tapped short, and then João Mario gives it back to Varela, and then it's drilled in towards the edge of the penalty area. Our Portuguese radio friends to our right got quite excited about that, but Arsenal were able to clear it away quite comfortably. It's been won back though, and Nico Gonzalez will try a shot with the angle, getting on for 24 yards out, but it flew away over the angle of post and bar for a goal kick.
Yeah, he did great. He sort of bounced Odegaard off the ball, won it clean. It's a nice strike, but it was always on the rise. But again, little glimpses of what Porto can do. Porto will be absolutely delighted, almost at the 40-minute mark, that the game is as tight as this, John.
Nico Gonzalez, who hit that shot, the number 16, was one of their summer signings last year, as I say, Barcelona. He was on loan at Valencia last season, and he's actually he's the son of Fran Gonzalez, who I think you'll remember, Deportivo La Coruña.
Oh,
You might well have played against him as well, because they had a great run, didn't he, round about that time?
They won the league.
They did, that's right. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. On the subject of winning the league, what's happening with Liverpool? Maz Farouki.
Into the second half, they still trail, John. Great chance though for Diaz just now, a couple of yards out, shot blocked. Really good work from Bradley in the build-up. Just a VAR check as well in the Luton area. No subs made at half-time, by the way, by Jurgen Klopp, as Sambi Lokonga's been replaced by Mpanzu for Luton. Liverpool 0, Luton 1.
It is Bradford City 0, Wickham 0, incidentally, in the match tonight in the EFL Trophy. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. In terms of goal-scoring chances, I've made 2 notes. The opportunity, good one for Galeno for Porto when he shot wide in that sort of rat-a-tat, and then the header from Saliba. We'll have more from Theo Walcott. He's with us tonight, back in the UK with Mark Chapman, so we'll hear from Theo Walcott at the break, and also at half-time. If you've been following the news events of the day, I'm sure we'll have more on the furore over the ceasefire vote in the Commons. Gordon Smart as well later. Breakfast in the morning, we'll have much more on that and all of the fallout. Ball back with David Raya, who has to readjust, and then right-footed, played out to the far side. Kivio heads it back towards the edge of the penalty area. But it's not been thrill a minute by any means. And the interest here, the great interest, is how this is unfolding tactically. as the ball is played out to Martinelli on the left-hand side from Declan Rice. Martinelli running in field, he might have overrun that, he has. Evan Nielsen's been able to nick it back off him, but he hasn't got a teammate within 20 yards. Now the blue and white striped shirts are flooding forward. Evan Nielsen's ball into the penalty area for Pepe Aquina. Then it's back for the shot from the angle from the arriving Evan Nielsen, actually, who was onto it, but it was straight at Raya who was able to save.
That's outstanding football from Porto. Beautiful back heel from Conceição to Evan Nielsen, and he gets a shot off on the angle, but it's pretty comfortable for Raya. But again, just another little warning for Arsenal. They lost the ball in the second third of the pitch, Porto setting traps and then looking to break on them. Yeah. It's a fascinating game. It's not a Premier League game, John. It's not like playing against Liverpool where they're going to come for you. These guys are quite happy to sit off, be technically rigid, say, come break us down. But they've got quality as well going forward, and they've got pace. And the game's, finely balanced. I'm really enjoying it. It's a great test for Arsenal. Yeah,
it was a super touch, wasn't it, from Pepe Aquino, the Brazilian international, into the path of Evan Nielsen, who hit the shot from the angle, but it was straight at David Raya. So Arsenal, overwhelming favourites coming into this match, despite this team's inexperience at this stage of this competition. As Odegaard now receives that. That's a good pass. Odegaard out to the right-hand side to Saka. Saka into the box, back to Odegaard on the edge of the penalty area. The Arsenal captain, arms whirling, then gives it to Ben White, and White's low cross hits the first defender, Wendell, and then ricochets into the hoardings for an Arsenal corner.
Lovely football. First time really Odegaard's got in that little pocket on the half turn, was able to release Saka. A couple of passes, and then White's in on the overlap, and another corner, John.
Yeah, that was a rare glimpse of the kind of attacking football that this Arteta Arsenal side can play. That was typical of them. So we've got the corner routine again, so be patient. This might take some time before the referee's happy. And again we see the tangling in the 6-yard box. Again we've got the 3 men at the back post. They all make the runs. Here's Saka's corner, which is headed up and away, back out to Bukayo Saka, who takes it down on his left foot, takes on the defender João Mario, then onto his right foot, but João Mario on the left, the right back, recovered really well and blocked it out for another Arsenal corner.
Yeah, really well defended from Porto for both aspects. First of all, the first contact on the header, and then João Mario with the great 1v1 defending. But again, Arsenal cranking up the pressure now.
Yeah, so they've got Saliba and Kivior, and Kai Havertz is actually the man who's the furthest from the ball at the back post. Let's see where this delivery goes. It's a deeper one, this, towards Havertz. I think there was a push in there. It was headed wide anyway, and the referees. Well, there are
bodies
5
everywhere.
Players down in various parts of the 6-yard box. One of them's actually in the back of the net. And in the end, Havertz, who I think was fouling his man, heads it wide. Might have been a handball as well. Basically, that had ended up in the net. There was absolutely no chance of a goal being awarded. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. Neil Lennon.
I don't mind that. I like the way Arsenal are bullish on these set plays. And they're disrupting the Porto defence, even though they're quite sort of, streetwise in that department as well. But yeah, it's a mature performance so far from Arsenal, but you got to give Porto a lot of credit for the way they've set up as well.
We've got to go straight to Anfield. Maz Farouki, because
the noise will tell you which way this one's gone. Liverpool have their equaliser 11 minutes into the second half. It's their captain Virgil van Dijk who's urging his team on now to try and go on and win this. It came from a corner from the right from McAllister. Really good delivery from McAllister, and the header from Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool 1, Luton 1.
Well, I can almost feel the Liverpool relief from here. Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal players, I'm sure the Arsenal fans up there in the stands will be keeping half an eye at least on what's happening at Anfield. So 1-1 is now the score at Anfield. More to come on that at half-time, when, as I say, we'll hear from Theo Walcott as well. But here in Porto, it is still 0-0. First half of this tie of relatively few chances. But Porto, with Evan Nielsen and Galeno, have had 2 big chances. And Arsenal have posed problems over the course of the last 15 minutes or so from the corners, but it is still 0-0 here. Those Arsenal fans, I'm sure, will have enjoyed the charms. It's quite an old world charm, I think, that Porto has, with its cobbled seats on the River Douro and the port lodges as well, as the ball is played long and forward for Ben White, who steers it back to Raya. who hoists it up in the air. Then Saka with a touch did well there to play the ball right on the half volley into the path of Odegaard.
That was magnificent, absolutely magnificent bit of skill from Saka.
They come down from
what a pass that is as well, John.
That's out from Odegaard to Saka, and Saka's now running at the back, pedalling Wendell, and it's back to Saka, who cuts in and hits the shot as we see him do so often. But Porto had men in there, 3 of them actually, and one of them blocked it away, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Arsenal. We're in the 45th minute here, so half-time approaching. Arsenal with the throw. Referee Guzu Buyuk is telling Ben White that he can't steal any more than the home supporters are onto this. White takes the throw. Odegaard takes it down near the dead ball line, just keeps it in play, and then the challenge comes in, and it's out, and it is a corner. So Arsenal have got a corner right as we move into added time at the end of the first half. But before it's taken, back to Anfield, Maz.
Just like that, they now have the lead. Cody Gakpo with the header this time to make it Liverpool 2, Luton 1, again from a corner from the right, and again Liverpool score. They turn it around, 2-1.
There we are, Neil. There we are. That's what the top clubs do. They were under some pressure, having been 1-0 down for such a long time, but Liverpool were losing. Now they're winning. Arsenal are drawing here, but this corner routine for Arsenal again, and once more we're seeing pushing and shoving in the 6-yard box. There's a defender trying to help the goalkeeper as Saka plays it into the back post, and it's headed down by Havertz, who got there, but with defenders in there, couldn't deflect it on target, headed it wide by 3 or 4 yards. Goal kick Porto. Yeah,
Ben White ended up in the goal. He's causing all sorts of havoc in there to disrupt the Porto defence, and those corners, John, if they're hanging them up at the far post, it looks like the best way for them to score a goal. Yeah. You know, Havertz, again, he's got contact on it, maybe should have got the header on target, but that's like 5 or 6 we've seen in this half.
5 it is, yeah.
Yeah, Mikel will be delighted. You know, this is an easy place to come. Porto, you know, they're not going to come out and play attacking football. They're going to try and invite you on, hit you on the counter-attack. They're going to be rigid, they're going to be disciplined. It's maybe not a great watch, but it takes 2 teams to make a game of football, John, you know, and Porto are going, no, we're going to play this way, break us down if you can. Yeah,
and there is the half-time whistle. I mean, I think it's so interesting with the corners here. You know, having watched them two games ago when they were playing against West Ham, and you know, it's a totally different kind of approach. Rice taking the corners, they're here, Saka taking the corners, and Havertz appears to be the target that they are looking for to find the breakthrough from the set piece. But there we are, very tactical, and at half-time, goalless. Porto 0, Arsenal 0.
I mean, John's mentioned it there, Neil. I do genuinely feel that Arsenal set pieces are one of the stories of the season.
Yeah, no question. It's like the old days under George Graham. You know, they used to work a lot on them as well. Remember the old near post flick on choppers? Yeah. You know, when people would come storming in at the back post. This one's a little bit different, where Ben Wright just wants to be a nuisance. You know, Varela can't handle him. They're pushing and shoving, and he's distracting the Porto defenders. And then it's hung up the far post, and you've got Saliba, you've got Havertz, you've got Gabriel coming in. And to be fair, they should have scored from at least one of them.
Well, Theo Walcott is with us as well. Tom Lockyer was with us on Monday night, and he was talking about how lengthy their meetings were on how to deal with Arsenal at set pieces, because they are, and he didn't talk about corners as much, but he talked about wide free kicks and just how difficult they make it for you.
Do you know what? It's expected now. Obviously, the set piece coaches are so pivotal for the game developing, and what I like is not just Arsenal do this, it's a lot of teams do this, but I'm noticing a lot more of Arsenal, they take their time massively to the point when the fans get so annoyed that they want to start throwing their paper airplanes or whatever. They just frustrate them, and these sort of games, you're not going to win it over one leg. It's a long fixture, this, and Arsenal know that. That's why I feel like they're playing with, even though they're relatively new in the Champions League, this team, they're playing with experience, because they started off a bit nervy with some passes, which is expected. It really is. I've been there when it's quite a hostile place and it's your first touch, you want to get it going. And then they got into the game. I think the set pieces were key for them to get into the game, because they're strong. They're strong from Arsenal, big team. And yes, I got to agree, maybe just the one was pretty clear where there's a lot of disruption, so it's hard to say if you should score, because obviously when you're off balance, it's kind of hard being in that position. I mean, not being in that position many times trying to head the ball in, but understanding the way when the players are off balance, it's harder to get it on target. But yes, maybe one could have been on target, should we just say? I'm not as harsh as Neil is.
No, being next to someone who's been off balance trying to head it in.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
I mean, John Murray, you did mention it in commentary how patient and deliberate they are with their set pieces, how they take their time, as Theo has said.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this at the West Ham match the other week. It does feel, doesn't it, that they are operating very much to the instructions of Nicolas Jauvert, the set-piece coach, and it's almost as if they are drawing attention to the fact, look, we have worked assiduously on this, and we will make it work. If we keep getting set pieces and corners, we'll make it work. So they're also, I think, trying to get into the head of the opponents in that way.
Yeah, and it's a big facet of the game, especially one as tight as this, that a set play could make the difference, Chappers. And I'll tell you how much Porto have respected Arsenal in terms of their set plays, and I've never seen this before. For 15 minutes before the game in the warm-up, they just practice defending set plays, whether it be wide crosses, whether it be corners. I'd never seen that before from a team. For 15-20 minutes of the warm-up, they just defended set plays.
And this is, we sit, how many matches do we cover in the season? And very often you'll sit and watch the warm-up, and it's from team to team, club to club, it's almost exactly the same thing. So today, to see something different like that was very unusual.
And as well, free kicks are an advantage. I always feel like, take your time. They're free kicks for a reason. So, like you say, they've worked on this throughout the whole week. If one goes in, the feeling, you get from the coach's perspective, but as a players as well, thinking, yeah, this works. And then they keep on sticking with it. You've got someone who believes in that much in the set pieces, which these guys do, because they work so hard, and not just actually attacking side of it, but actually certain positions where certain players are going to be, trying to sort of shift body weight off certain people. Like you said, there's so much disruption. The amount of players that were on the floor towards the end there, these happen for a reason, because the coaches are implementing this into the players, and it's starting to fix. Arsenal scored a lot of goals set pieces, so it's definitely success, and it could be like I said at the start, it's going to be a very narrow game. But yeah, I'm with you guys. This is a very tactical battle right now. Not a good spectacle, to be fair, but for us, I'm feeling, it's how it was going to go. I feel.
I think we call it, Theo, one for the connoisseur.
Yes.
which is why the three of you are enjoying it so much. I mean, I flicked to Napoli-Barcelona, and that was 0-0 as well. We'll go to John Southall in a moment. In fact, the game in the EFL Trophy between Bradford and Wickham is also 0-0. The only game out of the four we're interested in tonight that has got goals is at Anfield, where Liverpool have turned it round. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, 66 minutes played now. A rare attack forward. Doty's shot from the left at a tight angle, just going wide of Liverpool's right-hand post. It had Kelleher interested there, but a very different atmosphere now inside Anfield. And we nearly had a third Liverpool goal, again from a corner from the right in the second half. It could have been a second for Virgil van Dijk, and forcing a good save from Kaminski. Those 2 goals in 3 minutes for Liverpool in this second half, as they attack the Kop end in the second half, turning this match in their favour. 2 more Luton subs as well that have been made in the second half. Clark and Townsend on for Chong and Woodrow. Liverpool 2, Luton 1. Luton with a corner though.
So Napoli 0, Barcelona 0. Is this one for a connoisseur such as yourself, John Southall?
Well, you can't beat a good 0-0. You know that, Mark. It hasn't been great, actually. I have to say, they look like two sides who are not at their best, struggling for form at the moment. Barcelona have been the better side, there's no doubt about that. Napoli have had their keeper Alex Maret to thank, that we're still goalless. He's denied the 16-year-old Lamine Yamal, who looks a real prospect. Also Robert Lewandowski and İlkay Gundogan. Napoli, they've been poor. They look like a side whose manager has only had one training session with the team. No shots on target in the half. They did show a few signs as the half neared half-time that potentially things could get better in the second half. We shall see. Half-time, Napoli 0, Barcelona 0.
OK, so 0-0 in every game, bar that game at Anfield, where Liverpool lead Luton by 2-1. 6 minutes to 9 o'clock. Let's get the latest BBC News here on 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
And good evening, I'm Tim Daly. The Speaker of the House of Commons has apologised for breaking with convention and allowing MPs to debate amendments from both the government and Labour on an SNP motion calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Sir Lindsay Hoyle's decision angered the Conservatives and the SNP. Labour's amendment ended up being approved. Sir Lindsay said he'd been trying to respect the views of every member.
I have tried to do what I thought was the right thing for all sides of this House. It is regrettable, and I apologise.
This evening, the Speaker said he'd meet the SNP as soon as possible, but its Westminster leader, Stephen Flynn, has been questioning whether he should be staying in the role.
I will take significant convincing that your position is not now intolerable.
A senior civil servant has denied claims from the former Post Office chairman, Henry Staunton. He was asked to delay compensation payments to victims of the Horizon IT scandal. Sarah Munby has written to the business secretary saying the allegations are not true. Mr Staunton says his recollection of the conversation is very clear. And the new co-owner of Manchester United, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, says he wants to build a new stadium for the club. He says Old Trafford has become tired. And that's the news on 5 Live.
This is the betrayers. Traitors.
Connacht Reef has borrowed a few famous faces to help raise money for Red Nose Day. So we've had to find some replacements.
No, not him. Banish Lewis instead. Oh, he's so obviously a traitor. Oops.
Just like the real Claudia, you can do something funny for money.
Has Claudia finished her dance-a-thon yet? I really want to go home.
Find out how to get involved at bbc.co.uk/Red Nose Day.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
So in the football tonight, in the two Champions League ties at half-time, goalless between Porto and Arsenal, and also between Napoli and Barcelona. In the Premier League, Liverpool were a goal down at home to Luton at the break, but with 20 minutes to go at Anfield, they now lead by 2-1. And in the EFL Trophy tonight, it is goalless between Bradford and Wycombe. Elsewhere, Neil Harris has left Cambridge and returned to manage Millwall following the sacking of Joe Edwards. And in the cricket, Vice-Captain Ollie Pope says there's every chance that Ben Stokes will bowl in the fourth test against India that gets underway on Friday. This weekend, the Six Nations is back. England are at Murrayfield to face Scotland. The latest episode of Rugby Union Daily is out now. England coach Kevin Sinfield joins the pod in what will be his last Six Nations with the national team.
Well, I was contracted to the next World Cup. I think what happened to me over the last 4 years with Rob Burrow being diagnosed has meant that if I think I need to take some risk and do something different, I'll grab some control, then I'll do that with my life. I think it's important that we're happy, we're fulfilled, it's meaningful for us, but we're not here for a long time, and Rob's given me a whole deal of perspective, so there was never really a long-term plan. There isn't a long-term plan. And I've been asked several times now, what's next? Not quite sure yet.
Pumped for Murrayfield?
Yes. I've had a couple of good moments there over the last couple of years with some of the running stuff we've done and my work with Doddy, so I'm looking forward. I'm probably one of only a few that are really looking forward to going up there.
I wonder if they'll actually be nice to you still on Saturday, like they have been.
Yeah, I know, yeah. It'd be interesting to see. But, look, it's an important game for both countries. I got asked previously whether there'll be some niggle. Yeah, of course there will be. Ultimately, a lot of what they stand for I like, and you add in the fact that the rugby people, I think there's a lot of similarities between the countries, and certainly the supporters of either country want the best for the team, understand the values that rugby has, and there's a guy who hopefully gets celebrated at weekend who's been pretty special across the border, both ways, with how he's fought MND, and he'll be firmly in my thoughts as well as trying to win the game.
Kevin Sinfield on the Rugby Union Daily pod, commentary of Scotland against England on 5 Live Sport from 4:45 on Saturday. Also on BBC One, Ireland-Wales this weekend on Sports Extra on Saturday afternoon, at 2:15. Liverpool have just extended their lead at home to Luton in the Premier League. Maz.
They have. Luis Diaz really hitting the shot with some frustrations, you feel, because he's had so many chances in front of goal, particularly in the first half for Liverpool, and he really powered in that shot just inside the left-hand post for Liverpool's third in front of the Kop. But we've just got to pause and play. Alfie Doughty down at the other end. There was actually a really good chance for a Luton second. Jordan Clark, who's come on the field with that, and now Doughty's down, and the Luton physios are just attending to him. So Liverpool, even though they went 3-1 up, could have actually conceded straight away, and Jurgen Klopp has made the first Liverpool substitution of this match, by the way, in this second half. Andy Robertson has gone on for Conor Bradley. We have played 73 minutes, Liverpool 3, Luton 1.
And if people weren't listening earlier, Maz, even when they went 1-0 down, it had really been all Liverpool.
They were absolutely peppering Luton's area in the first half. The goal, real poacher's goal from Ogbena, really against the run of play, but Liverpool just lacking that final bit of quality, that final ball in the first half. The frustrations, obviously, and the tensions were rising. They could feel the atmosphere, I think, from the stands. The fans around me really frustrated as well. But the kind of Route 1 football, really, and we saw it against Brentford on Saturday, really working the set pieces, the goals coming, the first 2 goals from corners, and then real powerful headers, good deliveries from the right from McAllister. So Route 1 football doing the job again for Liverpool tonight.
Thank you, Maz. The big benefit here, Theo, is that Jurgen Klopp, he's made his first substitution now. Now they've got the 2-goal cushion, he can rotate a little bit because he's got a League Cup final to think about on Sunday.
Yes, very much so. Players now can, I'm not saying look after themselves, but obviously play out the game. Like I say, with the set pieces again, this is so important. He'd be happy with that. Yeah, you got to look after some of these guys. Of course, he's got a lot of injuries. We all know that, but yeah, it's now a final that everyone wants to win, which is mad because it's another trophy. I always feel like every player, I've been in that situation in Carling Cup finals where it was when I first played anyway, Carabao Cup finals. Yeah, I want to win them. Of course you do. It's another one for your sort of trophy cabinet. So every single player as well now is an opportunity for them to impress the guys that come on. Is to give the manager a headache, and I'm sure they'll be doing that and getting their chance. But yeah, like just seeing Arsenal come out now, I feel just the same progress really. Take your time. I think Mikel will be very pleased how it's gone. Keeping frustrating this crowd, and I'm sure it might be a sneaky goal by a set piece, I believe.
Were you? You talk about what it used to be called. Were you aware that the Carling Cup used to be the Milk Cup, the Rumbelows Cup?
I do know what the Milk Cup does ring a bell.
Rumbelows Cup?
It was Carabao Cup for me. Yeah. Right.
Do you know what Rumbelows even was?
Oh, I don't know. I'm really. Wow. I'm very young, aren't I?
You are over to Grandpa Murray to tell us about Rumbelows.
Can Theo have a guess? What do you think Rumbelows did?
I'm not even going to go there with that, I don't think. I'm not even sure. I don't want to say what I think it could be.
It was it was an electrical shop. Sold TVs. That was all it was.
The box TVs back in the day, those ones.
Yes.
with full wooden fridges.
With the start leads and everything.
Yeah,
those ones.
Yeah, you had to polish them with furniture polish. Anyway, moving back to 2021. We are here as Mark disappears into the distance. Neil, you've got a quizzical look on your face.
It used to be the Coca-Cola Cup as well.
Yes, it was.
The Worthington Cup.
Yeah, I think Theo will have heard of Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Porto 0, Arsenal 0 as the second half is about to begin here in the Dragao, where they've turned up the volume. Porto, no changes. Arsenal, no changes at the break. So Diogo Costa in goal. João Mario, Pepe, Otavio and Wendell, the back four. Then this eye-catching midfield of Pepe Aquino, Alan Varela and Nico Gonzalez. And then the front line of Francisco Conceição, Evan Nielsen and Galeno. Both Evan Nielsen and Galeno had a couple of the few chances in the first half, and they're actually waiting for Francisco Conceição to come onto the field, which he does now. Runs across the Champions League carpet, which has written on it Road to London 24, because the final is at Wembley at the end of the season on the 1st of June. And Arsenal now, as the music comes to an end, Arsenal kick off the second half, play the ball back, long downfield from Raya. As I say, no changes from Mikel Arteta at the break. So Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel Kivior. It's the same team as at the weekend. Odegaard, Rice and Havertz, Saka, Trossard and Martinelli. So Fabio Vieira is among the substitutes. The former Porto youngster, actually, they signed him from this club. Throw-in for Arsenal. Down the left, that is kept in play by Martinelli. No, he didn't. It bounced out of play, and it's a goal kick to Porto. Neil Lennon is here with us, Champions League player, Champions League manager. Played against Porto in a European final, memorably. Jose Mourinho's Porto in the UEFA Cup. Neil, what about the second half? Is Jorginho an option, perhaps, into the midfield?
Yeah, maybe to give. I mean, Arsenal have had plenty of control, John, of the game. Trossard's been a little bit isolated. For me, the two wide men are the key for Arsenal tonight. I have to say Porto have been what I expected them to be. Rugged, not wanting to come out, not entertaining, just staying in the tie and then looking to counter-attack. We've got a player down here at the minute. I think it's
Evan Nielsen, who's just gone down, so we've got a stoppage right at the start of the second half. So Neil Lennon with us here tonight. When we walked into the Dragao tonight, we walked on the inside of the stadium, where since I've been last here, they've put up all pictures of some of the greats who've played here. And who should have been there in one of the pictures but the side of your head?
Yes, it's a pretty big head, John. You know what I mean? Couldn't avoid the camera. It was alongside my old nemesis Deco, who's a fabulous player at this club.
It was actually Deco who the photo was of. But you were there, Neil. You're on the walls of the Dragao. So we took a picture of that, and it's on the 5 Live socials if you want to have a look at it. You can just see Neil. Here is foul centre field. Conceição played it in field, and I think Martinelli was just caught down there.
Yeah, he's just got a little clip on the ankle. He should be okay.
Yeah, it's actually been given against him for he came off worse, but it was a foul on Conceição, so it's a free kick. So 0-0 here in the Champions League. Still Napoli 0, Barcelona 0, and it is now Liverpool 3, Luton 1. After Luton led for around about 45 minutes of the match tonight. But Liverpool have come on strongly towards the end and look as though they're going to extend their lead at the top of the Premier League again. In the Champions League, Arsenal back in the knockout stages for the first time for 7 years. Remarkably, Arsenal have not won a Champions League knockout tie for 14 years. And that was against Porto in the round of 16, way back in the Arsene Wenger years. Here is Saliba, who plays it out to the right-hand side. And then Saka runs it back into his own half, all the way back, almost in amongst the central defenders, and passes it out to the left-hand side to Kivior. No Zinchenko back yet. Maybe he'll be back involved against Newcastle on Saturday night at the Emirates. There's a foul on Rice on the halfway line, and it's a free kick to Arsenal. We met a couple of Arsenal supporters from Los Angeles, didn't we, outside the ground tonight, who are here tonight. They'll be going to the Emirates on Saturday night before they fly home. As Kivior plays the ball in towards Gabriel. Rice drops right back in amongst the defenders as well. Declan Rice, who was booked after just 1 minute of this match, so he is on a yellow card. So as we said right at the outset, he's got to be careful. Saliba now with the ball inside his own half. Saliba just shuffles it forward. This is exactly the same pattern as the first half. Porto very happy to sit off, and if they can get the goal on the break and get a lead to take to the Emirates, that's the clear objective tonight for Porto. As Saliba slips as he sends a long pass forward, Martinelli heads it infield. Rice is onto this, but it bounces out of play next to Mikel Arteta, and it's a throw into Porto.
Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's any tactical tweaks. That's all that either coach have made, but it's as you were really. Again, good defensive line from Porto.
Porto almost lose it from the throw-in, but Pepe is able to stick out a foot and play it back to his goalkeeper, who strikes it long and it bounces out of play.
Again, no, John, they're not bothered. It's no nonsense. It's like, we're not going to take you on, because if we do, we'll probably lose. And they think, Conceição thinks this is the best way of staying in the tie and getting something out of it. And you have to respect that, from their point of view.
0-0. And Porto, it's been well documented here. The last time they've played English clubs in the European competitions, they've lost the last 7. So the last time a Portuguese side went through against an English club was that famous tie, Jose Mourinho's Porto at Old Trafford against Manchester United. So, I think what that does is, yes, it's history, but I think it reflects the strength of these leagues. But it's a league not to be underestimated, the Portuguese league, as the ball is played forward by Trossard, who has been quiet in the match, and his misplaced pass cut out. Conceição now finds a little ball infield where it's passed down the line. Here's Pepe Aquino who's onto this, but Declan Rice races back into position, shoulder to shoulder, gets the ball, runs away with it, clears it up the line, comes back at Arsenal where Kivior just heads it downfield out of play.
Exceptional from Declan Rice again, just majestic, going up against the winger, covers the ground, and again, Bobby Moore-esque, just comes away with the ball serenely. He's a hell of a player, and he's just getting better every season. I watch him.
Yeah, Bobby Moore was certainly world class. Return to the conversation in the first half. And the ball's out of play. The fourth official's just been having a word. Was Pepe involved with Mikel Arteta? He was, after we spoke before the start of the match. That's the first time Pepe and Mikel Arteta have had an exchange, and then Martinelli is tugged back by Conceição, and that's a yellow card for Conceição.
We're going to see a little bit of the dark arts coming out, John, the longer this game goes on. Clear yellow card, pull the jersey off Martinelli just to stop the counter-attack, and again, Porto don't mind that. They're just happy to concede the foul and get back into shape.
So a free kick, first time we've seen a set piece. It's quite deep, it's right out on the left wing, halfway inside the half, but nevertheless, I'm sure Arsenal will have been looking at this. So Odegaard is over this one. It is interesting, isn't it? Rice has taken so many set pieces, but I'm not sure. He only took one, didn't he, in the first half from out on the left. But it is Odegaard to take this. So we've got 4 Arsenal players standing in offside positions behind or beyond the defensive line of Porto. 7 of them in a row in the blue and white shirts. Odegaard swings it in, but not the delivery wanted. Easily headed away by Galeno, who was back there inside his own penalty area, and Arsenal take up possession again inside their own half. And it remains Porto 0, Arsenal 0. Champions League action live from Portugal under the lights of the Dragão here on the BBC. Ball forward from Raya. It's found its way all the way over to Martinelli on the left-hand side. Martinelli now has a chance to run at João Mario. Edge of the penalty area, beats him one way, then the other, then the cross is half-headed away, nodded away at the back post, comes out, Odegaard with a shot, that's blocked inside the penalty area. The players in there, might even have hit his own man Trossard, and it comes out to Arsenal, who are in the red and white tonight. Arsenal, I saw Miguel Delaney of The Independent describe Arsenal as possibly the biggest club not to have won the European Cup / Champions League. 6 English clubs have won it, Arsenal are not one of them. Here's Martinelli on the left-hand side. Martinelli got it all wrong. Sliced it as he fell, straight behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, he's a bit unlucky, but previously he's come inside, and for me, he is a good outlet for Arsenal tonight. It's very congested in the middle area, and I think the 2 wide men, Saka and Martinelli, could be key if they can stretch the game and force the one-on-one situations. I think Martinelli's got plenty to ask of João Mario, although to be fair to João Mario, he's standing up well to the test so far, but it only takes one moment, John.
Yep, it does. Porto taking the short goal kick. Pepe plays it back to Diogo Costa, the goalkeeper's long ball downfield. Crowd tonight 49,111. It was just very loudly announced as Porto play the ball now towards the right hand side. Pepe Aquino, the back heel from him. He's full of tricks, the Brazilian, but he wasn't able to find Conceição in the box, and Arsenal were able to clear. That's the second time he's tried something like that.
Yeah, this time he didn't. It was the wrong option. He maybe should have took a touch and just whipped it in across the 6-yard box. But you can see what he's trying to do, but yeah, it was easily cut out by Arsenal.
So it's still 0-0.
Scrappy, it's, and again, I keep saying, it'll suit Porto at the minute. Arsenal they're being mature about it. They've just got to be patient and wait for the openings, even if there's only 1 or 2 in the game, John.
Here's Odegaard, and the Norwegian, left-footed, lifts a pass out for Martinelli, backing away. He's able to take it down and play it back to the left-back, Kivior, now to Odegaard again. He's under pressure, and then Havertz is involved, back to Martinelli. Martinelli moving from side to side. Havertz is able to take it on, gets the crossover, but it actually hits Varela, who came in, the little central midfielder, to block it behind for what is Arsenal's first corner of the second half. And who's going to take this? And it is going to be Declan Rice. And of course, all of the corners in the first half, they were, weren't they? All of them were right-sided. Yeah, whereas this is a left-sided corner, so this is Declan Rice's in-swinging delivery. So same routine as the first half. Rice was ready to take it, but the referee has just blown his whistle and said to Rice to wait. And we're seeing Ben White causing a right nuisance of himself in there. Declan Rice takes it right to the far side of the penalty area. And what an opportunity that was. They found the space. Trossard was able to find his position. Rice found him brilliantly with the corner. But when it came to him, he volleyed it high and over and into the fans.
Magnificent chance. Brilliant delivery from Rice. And Trossard just drifts off to the back. Everyone went across the front of the first half of the goal.
Porto have lost it. They've given it away on the edge of the area. Martinelli. Pepe stepped in and dispossessed Martinelli. He might be almost 41, but he's got the experience. He intercepted that. Now it's Galeno down the other end. A rare Porto attack. Almost their first of the second half, it feels. Conceição now on the right-hand side. Conceição with a nutmeg on Kivior, who then hauled him down in the full-back position. Yellow card. Excellent play, Conceição.
Yeah, lovely skill. Little nutmeg, got the other side of Kivior, and it's a blatant yellow card. But going back to the Trossard chance, he had so much time, he could have maybe taken a touch. I understand he's instinctive and he wants to hit it first time, but that was a great opportunity for Arsenal. And now you've got the other end of that play for Porto.
I mean, they found, in amongst all of the mayhem that they were causing, Arsenal, Trossard found the space.
Brilliantly worked.
Brilliantly worked. Now, though, at the other end, Arsenal have got to be strong defensively from a set piece. Looking down on it from way up here. Got a brilliant view, actually. It's a great sight, that. This stadium, the flags billowing behind the goal, the free kick to be taken from the right flank in the Arsenal left-back position. There's a two-man wall in there, and all of the players with this Porto attacking set piece just in or on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's taken, it's overhit terribly by Galeno, way beyond the back post.
He was free though, right at the far post.
Yeah.
I think it's Wendell, or if
Wendell's with the set piece. Yeah.
If he gets the distribution right, he's got a free header there.
So Porto 0, Arsenal 0. As Martinelli breaks away down the left-hand side, but wins a throw-in for Arsenal. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. Let's go back to Anfield. Maz Faruqi.
We're into stoppage time now, and Liverpool have a fourth. 8 minutes of stoppage time, by the way, but Liverpool have got all 3 points wrapped up. Harvey Elliott with Liverpool's fourth, marking 100 appearances for him in the colours of Liverpool, celebrating that one, and he deserves it. 4-1.
And we also have the first goal of the night in the Champions League. It's come in the other match in Italy, Napoli-Barcelona, which is being monitored by John Southall.
And it's gone to Barcelona. They deserve it. Napoli 0, Barcelona 1. Robert Lewandowski, 12 yards out. Classic finish from him. Turned his man and finished it into the bottom corner of the net. His 18th goal of the season, 6th in the Champions League, and 93rd in total in the European Cup. Napoli 0, Barcelona 1.
Yeah, Lewandowski, who is right up there on that list of Champions League goal scorers. One of the great Champions League goal scorers, still going. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. No goals yet in this match after Arsenal have whacked in 21 in their last 5 matches. But here's Saka. He's been quiet. That's part of the reason. Saka, though, right-footed ball, gets it, overhits it, and it sails away across the penalty area, and Saka turns away. He's disgusted with himself.
Do you know what, John, right? It was in a good area. It was in that corridor between the defence and the goalkeeper, but no one's probably too far from Martinelli to make up the ground. But again, better from Arsenal getting the wide men in those 1v1 areas.
Throw in to Porto then after that wasted cross. But the throw gives possession back to Arsenal. We've got half an hour of this first leg to play. This first leg, a few chances, and then there's an arm. There wasn't much in that. It's caught Varela. It was an arm. The arm was outstretched from Havertz, who's protesting his innocence, but it's a free kick, and Varela, who I'm sure could get up, is taking his time.
Yeah, you called that red. Totally accidental. He's not getting the card. John. John.
Yellow card.
John, how's that a yellow card?
Unless it was
It was
something
solely
Havertz
innocuous.
said.
Well, I don't
In
know.
the
Maybe.
aftermath.
Maybe. Because that's not a yellow card, surely.
Well, he has been booked, and it's a free kick, so he's making a note of that. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. In the knockout stages, you know, with the way that the cards can tot up. Well, we've just seen it again, and it's almost Varela more runs into Havertz's outstretched arm.
Nothing Havertz could do there at all. All he's doing is trying to protect the ball. I mean, and you're right, Varela ran into it.
That does increase the suspicion that Havertz has said something. Surely. As almost miscontrolled by Otavio, the central defender. So Arsenal are back in business, and Porto have got players downfield, but then Odegaard is dispossessed. Wendell did well, the left back. They haven't cleared it yet, Porto. And Arsenal now, Rice gives it back over to the right-hand side. Saka, just cut out by Wendell, and he had to. He stretched in there at the last moment as Porto look to break effectively here with Gonzalez, and now up the left-hand side. Challenge comes in from Rice, who is on that yellow card, and it's just
given a throw.
No, he's given a throw, so it's no free kick. Throw into Porto, and they've got it back in the central third. Here's Pepe taking the record off Ryan Giggs tonight. It's Ryan Giggs who was previously the oldest outfield player to play in the knockout stages of the Champions League, but now it's Pepe, former Real Madrid man, and here he is underneath it with that ever severe shaved head. Ball's won back by Havertz, and then Havertz is tugged back by Conceição.
Well, John,
by Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's
a yellow card for Gonzalez.
Two blatant yellow cards. Now you're seeing what Porto are about. You know, they're going to break up the play. They're going to slow it down. They're going to try and kill the game off by hook or by crook, John. And this is their mentality. And they just got to stay patient, Arsenal, and not get overly frustrated. It's a clear booking.
Porto 0, Arsenal 0, BBC 5 Live. The way you said that, Neil, makes me think that takes you back to your playing days against Jose Mourinho's Porto.
They knew how to do it. They knew how to kill the time. And
yes, certainly
they knew how to buy free kicks, and they knew how to slow a game. This is very much Mourinho-esque performance now from Porto.
It is, actually. But I remember well, I talk about that UEFA Cup final. I commentated on it with Roddy Forsyth, and some of the stuff that went on in that match they were the tricks. Porto, Conceição's gone down, he's lost possession, he's stayed down, the referee's not buying it. Arsenal, he's played the advantage. Martinelli, excellent play into the box, but the covering challenge was there. Excellent cover, actually, to come in. Varela it was again, who impressed you in the first half. It's out for a throw.
Outstanding from Varela. Brilliant play from Martinelli to get beyond Pepe, and he just got a toe to it. Otherwise, it could have been a penalty. But brilliant cover again from the centre midfield player. Conceição's laying down. I don't think anybody's touched him here, John. I think he's just time wasting.
Well, the medical people are coming on, so he'll have to go off the pitch. So they're going to be down to 10 men for the 30 seconds. So he must feel as though he needs the treatment. And
that's the tackle we're seeing again from Varela. Yeah. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Porto 0, Arsenal 0. So a little break here. Napoli 0, Barcelona 1. It is still Bradford City 0, Wickham 0, and Liverpool 4, Luton 1. Can't be long to go at Anfield. Liverpool will go back 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League with that victory. Just while Conceição is receiving treatment, let's hear more from John Southall watching Napoli-Barcelona.
Napoli 0, Barcelona 1, very nearly 2-0. Pedri from the edge of the D, really good strike, but Merritt in the Napoli goal, very nearly fumbled it into his own goal. Barcelona then leading from that Robert Lewandowski goal, his 93rd Champions League goal. Napoli 0, Barcelona 1.
Porto 0, Arsenal 0 here in Portugal. Throw-in taken for Kivior, and then a foul given against Trossard and a free kick. Trossard looks frustrated. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see Jorginho perhaps come on for Trossard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he needs to make a substitution just yet, with 25-30 minutes to go, but he has been on the periphery of the game, and he's missed obviously best chance of the second half.
Back to Anfield, how long is there to go before Liverpool notch up their latest win, Naz?
We're in the 97th minute, so we've got one more minute of the allocated 8 of stoppage time added minutes at the end of this match to play. 3 19-year-olds on for Liverpool now, and Bobby Clark, Dans and McConnell for Gravenberch, Diaz and McAllister, just to add to the general theme of making us all feel very old tonight. Liverpool 4, Luton 1.
Yes, we've got a 16-year-old on the bench again for Arsenal, Nwaneri, the highly rated Ethan Nwaneri. There's Porto break, and it's Galeno now cutting in from the left-hand side into the box against Saliba, who does well, actually stood up well there. Galeno went one way, then went for the byline. Saliba went with him and defended it very effectively.
That's outstanding defending from a centre half. Galeno's a threat. You know, that's exactly the position you'd have wanted to have Saliba in. But absolutely brilliant defending, stayed on his feet, blocked the cross. You know, didn't dive in, nice and calm. Absolutely outstanding from Saliba.
Yes, Arsenal, as well as Ethan Nwaneri, have got another few untried youngsters on the bench. The 20-year-old James Sweet and the 17-year-old Aidan Heaven are on the bench as well. But it is João Mario for Porto, who crosses low into the Arsenal box. But again, they're able to deal with it, the Arsenal defenders. And then Sergio Conceição is just next to his son Francisco, who has won a throw-in. And now round the outside into the penalty area goes Pepe Aquino. Did well, cut it back, but Arsenal cleared it. But it's Porto's first corner of the match, and listen to the noise levels go up.
Aquino did brilliantly. He got the other side of Havertz. He's breaking into the box with Declan Rice again. He sees the danger, steps across and blocks the shot. Brilliant defender from Rice, but great play from Aquino.
Well, there would be an irony, wouldn't there, after all of Arsenal's corners, if Porto scored with their first. Conceição plays it in, 2 Arsenal men went for it. It was glance-headed away, out of play, and actually the final touch must have been another deflection in the box after that, which has taken it behind for a goal kick. So Liverpool have won, Mas Faruqi, at Anfield in the Premier League.
Yeah, relief all round this stadium. That second half much more like it. 2 headers from Van Dijk and Gakpo in 3 second half minutes, turning the match around after Ogbonna had put Luton ahead against the run of play. Diaz adding the 3rd, Elliott the 4th, and importantly, no more injuries, it appears, for Jurgen Klopp. And that lead at the top of the Premier League is back to 4 points. Full-time Liverpool 4, Luton 1.
Yeah, Liverpool played 26, 60 points, Neil. Then Manchester City played 25, 56, and Arsenal 55 points. Also from 25, like Manchester City. Arsenal playing the ball out from the back, but it's a Porto throw. They've won it over on the left-hand side. We've got smoke bombs have been released behind the Arsenal goal. The crowd are trying to do their bit here.
Yeah, they are. The decibel levels risen quite a lot. First time I've seen Porto press and have the pitch from a goal kick, John. They got their just rewards. But the run from Aquino's, set the blue torch off here. It's just giving the fans a lift when the game was sort of like meandering, as far as Porto were concerned anyway.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if Porto snatched a goal in this match. But it's Arsenal trying to do the same. Here is Odegaard in the centre circle. Odegaard turns, being put under pressure by Gonzalez, so passes it to the right-hand side, but that's overhit down the right by Ben White, out of play for a throw into Porto. That looked like a foul throw over there by Wendell, but the referee allows it to go. Here is Gonzalez again. They've upped the pace here, Porto, quite obviously. Pepe Aquino now breaking away centre field, and the challenge comes in on him centrally from Martinelli, actually, and the crowd were howling for a free kick. Referee says no free kick, play on Arsenal in possession.
Great determination from Martinelli. Must have covered about 25 yards there to win the ball back.
Yeah,
that's fantastic from a winger.
Yeah, unfamiliar position, middle of his own half. So as a result, here's Trossard, but he won't reach that pass down the left-hand side. That's out of play. Mikel Arteta just turns away. We're into the last quarter of the match now of this first leg. Mikel Arteta turns away with that, and I think he's indicating that he's going to make a change.
Good call, John.
And
just like Jorginho.
Yeah, Jorginho. He's going to come on into the Arsenal midfield, and as I say, I think that'll be it for Trossard. It's not really been his night. Few chances, but those that Arsenal have had have tended to have dropped to him, and he's not been able to take them. Saliba had that chance, didn't he, from the corner? That's the closest they've come. A couple of headers from corners for Havertz as well. But ball played forward by Kivio. This is for Havertz to chase, but he won't reach that. It's all the way through to goalkeeper Diogo Costa. So this is BBC Radio 5 Live. Liverpool have already won tonight, so we'll hear, I'm sure, from Jurgen Klopp, possibly Rob Edwards as well, over the course of the remainder of 5 Live Sport tonight. It'll be all on the 5 Live Football Daily podcast in the morning on BBC Sounds, which is where you get all your live BBC radio, and indeed you can go back and listen to any of the networks as well. And Mark mentioned at half-time Tom Lockyer, the Luton captain, who was on the Monday Night Club on Monday night, believe it or not. Such a good listen. I would urge you to go back and have a listen to the conversation between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Just go back in the stations and schedules section, 5 Live Monday night, and listen back to Tom Lockyer. Porto with the ball at the back, and that's going to be a foul, I think. Yes, it is, by Odegaard, who's furious about it. Just little nudge into the back of Otavio, who went down and won the free kick. Got 20 minutes to play, Neil, still goalless.
Yeah, still finally poised this game. Well, the whole tie is, John. You know, the thing for me is Arsenal haven't created anything really from open play. The best chances have come from set players, which is fine. And that, you got to give credit to the way Conceição set up the team and the way they've defended. I mean, there's Pepe again. João Mario's had a great game. Wendell's done well on Saka. So you're going to get these challenges, John, as you go along in this competition, and it's not all going to be about playing beautiful football and scoring a lot of goals. You've got to dig in sometimes, and to be fair to Arsenal, we played really maturely tonight.
Yeah, Arsenal are waiting to make their first change, the first substitution of the match, and it is Jorginho, another of the men who won the Champions League for Chelsea in this stadium. Just like Kai Havertz, Jorginho is going to come on. And but before that, corner for Arsenal, which was won by Trossard off Pepe. So Rice to take this, and again we see this highly tactical setup for the Arsenal corner. Players beyond the far post. Rice takes it in there towards the back. Costa, the goalkeeper, comes, gets a good punch on that, actually, out into the full-back area, and it's played up the line back towards the halfway line. So we won't see the change yet for Arsenal. As we move into the last 20 minutes, David Raya slips as he sends this forward, but it should be caught by Costa. It is. Comes out right to the edge of his penalty area and overarms it out, but that's strong from Gabriel to step in, and it falls to Arsenal again. Martinelli back towards the halfway line to Saliba. Martin Odegaard is there. He uses Saliba behind him. Now Ben White over on the far side. Here is Saka. Plays the ball infield. Saka to Odegaard. Back to Saka again. There's the overlap from White down the right-hand side. Ben White with the cross, but defender came in, blocked it behind. It's a corner to Arsenal, this time from the right-hand side.
That's a lovely move. Nice little triangle between White, Odegaard and Saka. Just waiting to see if they're going to make this change. John? There they are.
They are. They're going to have it done now. And predictably it is Trossard.
Makes sense.
Who will come off. So Havertz, you would imagine, will move further forward.
And he just give a little bit more stability. The game was just starting to get a little bit fraught. You know, he'll control that midfield alongside Rice now and give a little bit of extra support to Rice and kill off, hopefully kill off any counters.
On he comes, Jorginho, Champions League winner in this stadium. Third successive match that he's come on as a substitute, having started and played so well against Liverpool. But this is all part of the... And it is a corner for Arsenal from the right-hand side that is going to be taken by Saka. It's a right-sided corner, so it's Saka, it's the in-swinger. Ben White again absolutely causing chaos. Saka takes it in, but the referee's having none of that. His patience has run out. He blew the whistle, and he's actually blown the whistle because goalkeeper Costa has gone down, presumably after bumping into Ben White. So we're going to have the corner retaken once the referee is satisfied that Costa is okay, which he is. And Jorginho has just taken up. He's got a message, actually. Jorginho would look from probably Nicolas Jovert, the set-piece coach, has probably said to Jorginho, just go on and tell him this. So he spoke to both Saliba and Ben White So here we are again, and players going hither and thither inside the 6-yard box. Martinelli as well. Martinelli, White and Saliba. He has the delivery from Saka, and Costa comes and makes a catch right on the edge of the 6-yard box, and then gives it out to Galeno, who runs into Odegaard. Galeno passed it beyond Odegaard. He was looking for the free kick and he doesn't get it. The referee wasn't buying that one either.
Yeah, it was really well read from Odegaard. It was a quick release from Costa, something I haven't really seen from Porto, but Odegaard had read the danger, and it was never a foul, John.
15 minutes to play. Porto 0, Arsenal 0. Second leg at the Emirates in 3 weeks' time. We'll have all of those commentaries for you as well, and more from the Champions League. And as well, by the way, mark your card, Sunday, 5 Live Sport is the place to listen to commentary on the Carabao Cup final, which I think is very interestingly set up now with Chelsea's recent revival. Liverpool against Chelsea, when Alan Shearer will be alongside us, one of your old sparring partners.
Should be a really good game, that.
So
you're right, Chelsea showing a bit of form now, and obviously Liverpool are Liverpool. Should be a cracking final, hopefully.
Yep, let's hope so. After their cup finals, the 0-0 cup finals, and the penalties of 2 seasons ago. Manchester United Fulham is our 3 o'clock commentary on Saturday, incidentally, as well, as Porto look to break. As back comes Martinelli again. Excellent work from him once more. You know, he knows his job, Arsenal know their job, and Porto are forced to go back into their own half. Let's go back to Napoli-Barcelona. What's the news, John Southall, now?
Well, Napoli are back in it. Napoli 1, Barcelona 1. Victor Osimhen back in the side for the first time since the 23rd of December. Rolled the defender Martinez inside the area, kept his feet, finished it off. That was Napoli's first shot on target, and it's Napoli 1, Barcelona 1.
1-1 there, 0-0 here. And Diogo Costa. Long downfield from him, from his right foot. Infield from Martinelli. That is into the path of Gonzalez. Pepe steps forward. That's taken down now by Varela. And the young Argentine gives it to the young Portuguese Conceição. And Conceição's ball just runs through, and Raya's able to come across and pick it up out of his 6-yard box. Just got it all wrong, Conceição, after another promising little run infield from him.
He's a nice mover with the ball, you know, but he's just
like his dad was.
Yeah, he's just picked the wrong option there. And again, you know, the 2 centre-halves for Arsenal have been great tonight as well, John. You know, they're so athletic and, you know, really good defenders. And they've been the bedrock of this, you know, Arsenal team for the last couple of years, and with Rice in there now as well, you know, they're a real contender.
Yep, contending. So say if they get through this time, they're into the quarter-finals. You know, you have to think about the possibility of Arsenal going all the way. I mean, I think unlikely, but as a friend of mine said to me earlier this evening, if Tottenham can get to the Champions League final, why can't Arsenal? Which is, I thought, was a fair question.
Especially the form that they're in, and what you need, John, as well. Sometimes there's a bit of luck, you know what I mean? And but the way the game plan is tonight has been fine. You know, no panic, good control of the game. But they're up against a stubborn opposition tonight, and they won't always come up against an opposition like this. But it's not often you play a team who is as tactically defensive as Porto are, although this is a great move.
It is lovely to Odegaard. Odegaard now 10 yards inside the Porto half, gives it to Saka. Saka back to Odegaard, edge of the box, onto his right foot though, gives it back to Saka, who's stretched for it. It's just not been himself at all, Saka, tonight. Weaves the ball out towards the right hand side and then plays it infield, where Arsenal take up possession again. That last time that I was talking about, when Arsenal last won a tie in the knockout stages of the Champions League, as the ball is played to Saka again on the far side, he's challenged, it bounces to Odegaard, and then comes the Otavio to stab it behind for another Arsenal corner. The last time, which as I say was 14 years ago, Arsenal lost here and then won 5-0 at the Emirates, when, if you remember, Nicholas Bentner, that was when he scored his Champions League hat-trick for Arsenal, and they cruised through. Corner then for Arsenal. Porto going to make a change. They're going to bring on another forward player, Ivan Jaime, who is waiting on the halfway line. But the latest corner for Arsenal, it's a right-sided one, same routine. Saka to take this. There is the option of taking it short, should they wish to do that this time, although Martinelli now comes in. So here's the delivery, but the goalkeeper comes and gets a fingertip to it. And actually, I think the referee's seen a foul in there. He has. It's a free kick. Free kick to Porto, and they'll make that change.
Mikel Arteta's giving daggers to the fourth official. I didn't see much in that, John. You know, the goalkeeper's come. There was a bit of a tangle of legs, but it doesn't seem to be a deliberate foul in there. It should be a throw into Arsenal.
But it is a free kick to Porto. I think they're going to make the change. Seemed to indicate that they were going to, but they're not yet. They obviously just wanted to see how the Porto player who was going down, maybe it was Wendell who'd gone down, so I think they just delayed it to see how he is. So actually Sergio Conceição is now talking to some of his other substitutes, and he says yes, you can go ahead and make the change. So it's Nico Gonzalez. Yes, there he is. Nico Gonzalez is coming off from the midfield, and Ivan Jaime, 23-year-old Spaniard, is coming up. Yeah, there he is. Trotting on to take up a position over on the it's a straight swap on that left central midfield position.
He's starting to get a bit fatigued, Dominguez, and he was on a booking as well, so again, common sense approach from Conceição there.
Yeah.
So we're into the last sort of 10-15 minutes, John. You know, I think both managers will be pleased. I think Arsenal might want to try and force the issue now in the last sort of embers of the game here.
Porto 0, Arsenal 0. Very often the Champions League, the knockout stages, provide incredible thrills and spills. But this hasn't been one of those matches. Maybe they're leaving it for the second leg at the Emirates. But as we've said throughout the course of the evening, if you just joined us, this has been a real tactical battle between these sides, and not many chances, lots and lots of set pieces. And here's Martinelli now. Martinelli, who is challenged, wants a free kick. Conceição, but it's out of play. It's given only as a throw-in to Porto.
I thought it was a throw in the other way. Yeah. But again, it's symptomatic, you know, the work rate of some of the players. We've seen Martinelli do it, we've just seen Varela do it. There's been no quarter given in there. It's been really congested, really tight. You know, not much given either way between the teams.
Perfect.
But again, this is cup football. You know, can't give. It's a two-game tie. Arsenal will be delighted if it stays 0-0.
Perfect example of that as well. Just as you're talking, close control, centre of the field, and Arsenal play it back eventually to Saliba. 5 Live Sport on air till 10:30 tonight. So more from Theo Walcott. We'll try and bring you the thoughts of Mikel Arteta as well. Jurgen Klopp after their win tonight, 4-1. Liverpool, misplaced pass from Jorginho, straight out of play. Liverpool scoring their goals tonight. They were 1-0 down, Liverpool, for about 45 minutes of the match after Ogbene scored for Luton, but Van Dijk, Gakpo, Diaz and Harvey Elliott making it 4-1 in the end for the Premier League leaders. Porto 0, Arsenal 0, throw into Porto 10 yards inside their own half over there on the far side of this still gleaming stadium. I remember well sitting up here watching and commentating on the first match at Euro 2004 when Greece upset the apple cart against Portugal, beat them in the first match of the tournament, and then of course famously in the last match of the tournament as well. Throw in for Porto, little flick, now it's brought forward. It's Jaime's first real involvement in the match, and it bounces back now to Pepe Aquino, who turns, gives it to João Mario. Overlap here from Conceição, who crosses, took a deflection, and that took the pace off it, and an easy catch for David Raya, who gives it out. But Arsenal had everyone back there, underarmed it out to Odegaard. They're certainly not hurtling forward here, Arsenal, with Martinelli on the potential counter-attack, and actually Porto are now back in position, and Sergio Conceição is preparing a double change down there for the last 6 or 7 minutes of this match. Here's Pepe at the back. Be proud of a clean sheet, if it is to be a clean sheet for him and his defence. They've certainly worked on this, worked on Arsenal, but Martinelli wins it back. It bounces to Havertz on the left-hand side, but defender's able to come across and plays it back in field. Very, very cool that from your man Varela again.
Great, John.
Excellent.
I've been really impressed with him tonight, I have to say. Not just his work rate, but his composure on the ball and seeing a little pass. And just his tactical positioning as well has been excellent.
Yeah, another Argentine talent. His first season in Europe. And João Mario now playing the ball back to Pepe. Next time they make the ball goes out of play, they're going to make these latest changes, Porto. But the ball is with their goalkeeper. who is down there with the ball at his feet, and it's cleared out of play for a throw-in to Arsenal. So that is it for the night for Evan Nielsen. So he's been replaced by Gonçalo Borges, Portuguese under-21 international, and Conceição is off as well.
And if he says them, well played, son.
Yeah. So Borges is on, and Tony Martinez is coming on, the former West Ham youngster. Do you remember? He was very, very highly rated, signed from Valencia, but hardly got a look in at West Ham. Went on loan to Oxford United. I remember seeing him play there as well, actually, I think in the League Cup. But now he's on, Tony Martinez, to play up front, the number 29.
What nationality would he be, John?
He is Spanish.
Okay. I've not seen any of them at all.
Yeah, he could, a name like Tony Martinez, he could almost only be Spanish. As Rice steps in for a challenge, centre field. Saka plays it forward. Havertz was there, but in came the challenge as well from Otavio, and it bounces out of play for what is given as a corner. Now, they don't like this, Porto. But the referee is saying, yeah, he was right there as well. He was 10 yards away, and he indicates a corner, which is a fortunate one with the deflection. But he's coming back, actually. There's a man down on the halfway line. So there'll be a delay before Arsenal take this corner.
I think it's Jaime. Just, came on first in the challenge from Declan Rice. But what a time it would be for Arsenal to score. They've really racked up the set plays tonight. It's been...
Number 10, this?
Yeah, it's been attritional out there, John. It's not been pretty on the eye, but again, as we've said, no quarter given. This means a lot to both these teams, and Porto aren't going to come out and play attractive football against a team who, let's get it right, have been rampant in the last month or so.
Yep, 21 goals in their last 5 matches, but haven't been able to find a way through, and actually, certainly haven't created a stack of chances by any means. But it's yet another set piece, it's yet another corner. Saka into the near post this time. It takes a flick off a Porto head. Martinelli trying to bring it down to the back post, couldn't do so, and Porto are going to run it away, which they do, up towards the halfway line. Gonçalo Borges is waiting for it, and then Kivior actually stops the progress of Wendell up the right wing, fouls him, and it's a free kick near the halfway line.
Yeah, they'll just take their time. Soak it up. Wendell, he was down a minute or two ago, he's down again. Looks like he may have finished for the night. Yeah, Pepe's
suggesting that
substitution
for him. They're going to have to make another one. So this might take a little while. And yes, Sergio Conceição is calling forward one of his substitutes from up the line. It might be, is that Cardoso who's coming forward, but we'll see in a moment or two anyway. Porto 0, Arsenal 0 remains the score. I see that Miguel Delaney of The Independent has commentated tonight. He said, Neil, the Porto-Arsenal game has been class, if you like, a referee whistling a lot and giving more stoppages for technicalities than in rugby union. So that's the opposite view to the fascinating tactical challenge.
Yeah, but this is the way Porto play when they're at it. And what I mean by that is they're not going to give anything free, John. They're not going to let Arsenal dominate the play or come at Arsenal, because they know they're not good enough to do that.
Yeah, Wendell is going to be replaced. It's actually going to be the Canadian international Stephen Eustáquio who's going to come on to replace him. So that's another injury at left back for Porto, where they've suffered a couple of them. Here's Tony Martinez involved in the match for the first time, and Ben White went with him it was Jaime actually. Ivan Jaime with a run through the middle, and Ben White went with him all the way and eventually forced him over, and it's a free kick to Porto, right of centre, in a good position to deliver in the set piece in what is the 89th minute. So Porto are interested in this, very much so. Arsenal have got to stand up and defend this. Conceded only 2 goals in their last 5 matches. And this latest change, Wendell, who went back onto the field, is going to limp off, and Stephen Eustachio comes on to replace him. Whether he's going to be a straight swap into the left-back position or not, we'll see, because he is actually a midfielder. But as I say, they are short in that department now. But it is a free kick then for Porto. Arsenal got to be strong here. Only a few minutes left of this first leg. Still goalless. And the ball is played in by Jaime to the back post. White could have let that go. Whether he got a touch on that, I'm not sure. It's kept in anyway. Over on the left flank, ball fired into the near post. That's an easy pick-up for David Raya. Comes to absolutely nothing. And Raya, long ball, fires it downfield. That's volleyed away. There'll be 4 minutes of added time at the end of the match. Running off the field, Kivior actually slipped where the grass ends and the track starts, and I thought he'd run into one of the Porto coaches, but he's okay, he's all right. Throw-in taken for Arsenal. Declan Rice now to Saka. Now it's Arsenal who are thinking they might be able to snatch one right at the end. Saka was caught late there, played the ball and was fouled. Free kick to Arsenal, almost exactly where Porto had theirs at the other end a few moments ago.
It's a definite foul, you know. Nice play from Saka, just gets a little step across and Jaime takes him out. So again, opportunity here, John. Is it going to be an in-swinger, do you think, or an out-swinger?
Well, Gabriel's gone across there. Odegaard would be the in-swinger, Rice would be the out-swinger from a sort of 45-degree angle. Gabriel in discussions. Arsenal players again lining up beyond the Porto defensive line. Gabriel still chatting away with Odegaard and Rice, and eventually, you know, he'll take up his position. Obviously, Gabriel in amongst his teammates there. The three of them now become four as Gabriel runs past the wall. Odegaard, he's made it very clear, Gabriel, what he wants here. Gabriel very effective with goals in recent matches. Declan Rice to the left of the ball, Odegaard to the right. Big moment this in a tight match. Rice it is who plays it in, and Gabriel heads it over from 6 yards and holds his head and thinks what a chance that was to snatch the lead.
Oh, John, that was it. That was it. He stepped back and then they come from an offside position back to onside and then go and attack the ball. He's got a free header and he's just got too much on it. What a delivery from Declan Rice again. That was outstanding. What a game he's had tonight. Despite the fact that he's been on a booking from the first minute, he's had a great game.
And they've certainly not overused him with the taking of the set pieces, but when he has delivered them, Rice has been absolutely on it. And he spoke, Mikel Arteta, after that West Ham game about how they've watched him at West Ham and with England, his delivery of set pieces, and Arsenal trying to make the most of that. But it is Porto who attack, late attack this, down the left-hand side. Martinez waits in the middle, but it overcomes the cross and a comfortable catch by goalkeeper Raya. We're in the 3rd minute of added time now at the end of this first leg. So it is looking very like it will be goalless to go to the Emirates in 3 weeks' time. You'll hear that on 5 Live, plus commentary on the other Champions League matches when it resumes. Gabriel just miscontrols, and Borges was all over him, but he recovers. Raya clears. It's headed infield by Pepe Aquino. Pepe Aquino gets it back. Brilliant footwork, but then overrun it to Rice, and then Rice himself is dispossessed, and Porto now looking interested. Rice steps in with a challenge. Good one as well. He had to time that, being on the yellow card away from Martinelli, but he's just given it back, and it's passed forward by Otavio. And now the ball over on the left-hand side as Porto attack. Curling shots in! What a finish from Galeno in added time! That is some goal there! And Porto take the lead! Frenzied celebrations here inside the Dragao. David Raya diving to his left, but he was left clutching at thin air. And Porto are going to take a lead to the Emirates. They've played this brilliantly. 1-0 in the 4th minute of added time.
John, you said maybe 15-20 minutes ago, don't be surprised if Porto get a goal. And the goal comes out of nothing really. It's a slack play from Rice. They win it back, then Martinelli tries the diagonal to Saka. It's nowhere near it. It comes out to Galeno, who steps inside. You don't get close enough to him, and he hits a beautiful curling shot, and it's going over and beyond David Raya. And that is smash and grab, John. That is Champions League football. It might be ugly at times, but Porto don't care. We've said this from the start, they do not care. There's the ball given away from Martinelli. It's picked up. Galeno's allowed to turn. White doesn't get close enough to him. He steps inside and he curls an absolute peach. I'm not sure about Raya's positioning. He's a long way out. You know, he's maybe 4 or 5 yards out. And it's not going in the top corner, John. It's gone over him. So maybe looking at the goalkeeper's position for that, but what a class finish.
Yeah, probably 25 yards given the angle over to the left-hand side. Arsenal now have got to be sharp, but Odegaard shoots from the edge of the D. And really, that's going to be it. I think the final whistle is going to go any moment now. And absolute classic Champions League. What we've witnessed here tonight, a tactical battle, and in the end, Porto have snatched it. That's what they've been looking for all night.
So you got to give huge amount of credit to the coach. You got to give huge amount of credit to the players. Arsenal are coming here in fantastic form, and there's the whistle.
Listen to that roar from the fans of Porto. What disappointment for Arsenal it is in the end on their return to the knockout stages of this great competition, and they're going to have to turn it round in 3 weeks' time at the Emirates. It is only 1-0, but crucially, Porto, the twice former European champions, have got the lead they wanted to take to London.
Yeah, it couldn't work out any better for Porto. I still think there's loads in this thing. I'm not sure 1-0's enough going to the Emirates. Arsenal didn't do a lot wrong, John. You know, didn't do a lot wrong, controlled a lot of the game, but you know, look more of a threat from set players rather than open play. And you got to give a huge amount of credit for Porto for the way they defended, the way they were rigid in their defensive structure, the work rate. And Arsenal matched that, to be fair, but from open play created very, very little, and looked the biggest threat of all from set players. And then the game at 0-0, and even if the game's at 1-0, John, there's always that potential for a wonder goal, a deflection, a set play. We get a wonder goal tonight from Galeno.
Yeah, Arsenal's players have gone to their fans who are high in the stand on the opposite side, but are now walking off with heads bowed. But as Neil Lennon says, they were beaten by a really high quality finish from Wenderson Galeno, who has now scored 5 goals in the Champions League this season, which makes him joint top scorer in the competition. It really was a special goal, and it's won the first leg. Porto 1, Arsenal 0. It's finished here.
We'll have plenty of discussion and reaction after 10 o'clock here on 5 Live. But as you just said, Neil, look, they've not far off played that to perfection, Porto.
Yeah, I thought they were outstanding, Choppers. You know, we always felt coming into this game from your own experience, particularly against Portuguese teams, you know, they're technically really well organised and diligent defensively. They had a good line tonight, you know, and they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were frustrating. They were slowing the game down. They were doing the dark arts, you know, buying yellow cards, and always trying to stay in the game. And you know, when you're always in the game, it just takes one little bit of quality to turn it your way, and that's exactly what they got. So, from Conceição's point of view, whether we like it or not, Choppers, whether we think it's good viewing or not, you've got to give credit to their mentality and the way they set out to beat, you know, one of the best teams in Europe at the minute.
Well, Theo Walcott is with us as well, and will be until 10:30. Not every team can play the same way, Theo. I mean, that will be one of the debates, I suppose, over the coming 24 hours.
Yeah, I feel like obviously just adapting back to the Champions League. Arsenal play like they do in the Premier League, which has been outstanding. Been quite patient. I mean, it was always going to be narrow, very, very tight. Of course it was. These games always are. But like I say, these aren't one over one leg. These games, I've been in this situation before when you've gone to a place like this and you've not got the result you wanted, or you managed to nick an away goal. So that doesn't really factor in this stage. But I'm still, confident Arsenal with the home support, particularly the way the Emirates is at this moment in time, that they will be able to go through quite comfortably. To be honest, I really do. I don't think it'll be as tight as this tonight. I think it will be a lot more open.
Just on what we're seeing at the moment, actually, and what you're seeing, John, and this will highlight what this means to Porto and the Porto fans. They're playing, I'm assuming, some Porto anthem in the background.
I think we're going to have a big sing-song here. I think the club song, and actually all of the Porto players and the squad, the whole squad, are gathered around in a big circle together. I presume Sergio Conceição has been talking to them in the middle of all of that. And while this is happening, flags are being waved, scarves are up, and they are steeling themselves clearly here after. I mean, they have done the job tonight, and that's what they are, I'm sure, saying to one another. And yes, Sergio Conceição, the coach, is now walking out of the middle of it. So we're going to have a lap of honour as well, I think, before it all ends.
And that stadium is still full, isn't it? I mean,
pretty much.
Nobody's left, or the majority have stayed and not left early for this.
And the other thing is, as well, as you know, I heard you talking about it a couple of weeks ago. There's quite a lot of ill feeling around Porto at the moment because of this big presidential election that's coming up, and the long-standing president is being challenged by none other than André Villas-Boas. But it's really created factions in amongst the supporters groups, and so this is quite galvanising, I think, what we're seeing here.
Rory Smith has been telling us about that on the Monday Night Club. In fact, he's friends with head of the Porto Ultras, apparently, so he's got the inside track.
Into him yet, I'm pleased to say.
You've bumped into him?
No,
what, Rory or the head of the Porto Ultras?
Don't mind bumping into Rory. Head of Porto Ultras, maybe less so.
So Porto 1, Arsenal 0.